ที่รักคุณสาคุณสา
คนที่ฉันรักคือไออุ่น
Hey, welcome to Wouldn't Be a Drama, a Geo Drama podcast. I am your host, Jazz, and as you can see, I am by myself once again. Linda, my co-host, she is currently in Chicago. She went to a ESPA concert last night, so she's going to be gone for this episode. She might be gone next week too. We're not sure yet, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Today, we are going to be recapping episode 5 of Us the Series. And you guys, this episode unpacks quite a bit. We finally get the backstory for Pam that we've been looking for. We haven't completely gotten Nini's backstory yet, but I have a feeling that's going to be coming up pretty soon. But we at least got Pam's backstory. And yeah, let's go ahead and just start talking about it. So we open the episode, we see Pam at the graveyard paying respects to her parents, visiting their grave. And we see Nini show up, and she starts asking Pam, she's like, I couldn't get a hold of you last night. Did something happen? Stuff like that. And Pam tells her, no, nothing happened. I was just tired. And so Nini's like, well, just don't forget, how painful everything has been for you. Talking about her parents passing away and everything, right? So after that, we get a flashback to Pam at the hospital, and her parents have been in an accident. And so like the doctors are rushing to get them, back into the operating room and everything, and she's losing it, as you would expect if your parents are in the hospital and you can't do anything, right? So we see Pam, she's in the hospital, she's crying. The nurses and the doctors are trying to get her to stay back so that they can help her parents. And later we see her on the phone with T, asking how grandma's doing. She tells her don't tell grandma yet, wait for me to get there, that kind of stuff. And then we see in the background Gowie and Dokrak's dad talking to the surgeon, and Pam overhears the conversation, and she hears Dokrak's dad telling the surgeon, the minister's here. He wants the best surgeon. You're the best surgeon. Do not keep him waiting. He makes significant donations to the hospital. And the surgeon's like, but, I have this family, this married couple here. They got here first. They also need the surgery. You want me to prioritize the minister over this couple that was here first, And you see the dad, he's like, I want you to handle the minister and I'll take care of everything else. Basically telling him, like, if you don't do this, you're not going to have that promotion that you've been looking for, kind of. And so, Pam hears that and she runs up to them and she tells the surgeon, please help my parents. Please. We were here first. Please help my parents. Please. It's like she's groveling. She's on her knees begging the surgeon. And Dokrak and Kowie's dad tells the nurses to come get her and take her away. And that's what happens. And then the next thing we see is Pam and her grandma, mourning her parents, because I'm guessing the surgeon did not help them, because he got pretty much threatened by Cowie and Dokrak's dad. So next thing we see is Pam and her grandma mourning. And then that loan shark from the last episode, he shows up and he's like, hey, sorry you're mourning and everything, but your dad owed my boss money. So now that he's not around, you and your grandma have to pay us back. And if you don't, well, you know what happens after that. So Pam goes back to the hospital and she confronts the dad. What's his name? Kem. She confronts Kem, Dr. Kem. and he's like trying to get away from her, and she keeps blocking his way. And he's like, "Do I know you?" And she's like, "You should. You don't recognize me? You killed my parents." And he's like, "Be careful what you say. I can sue you for that." She's like, "Nothing. I've said nothing that's a lie. You murdered my parents. You prioritized somebody else over them, and now they're dead, basically." Um, and yeah, she's just reiterating, you're the reason my parents are dead. And so he has security take her out of the hospital while she's yelling that he's a murderer in front of everyone. And I don't blame her. I really don't blame her. If it wasn't for him making the decisions that he made the surgeon make, her parents could possibly still be here. And so next we see Pam protesting in front of the hospital. She has a sign saying, none of you have ethics, you're all murderers. And she's just waving this around in front of the hospital. And Dr. Kem comes out, he sees her, and yeah, she's like, "You have no work ethic, you asshole." And so she keeps calling him a murderer. And he just walks off into his car. And Pam goes to pick up a rock to throw at the back of the car. And she gets stopped by Nini. This is how Nini comes into the picture. And Nini tells her, "Don't do that. You'll just end up going to prison for nothing." And, Pam's, upset. She tells her to stay out of it. And she's like, "I have nothing to lose anymore." She's like, "My parents are gone." She's like, "I tried to tell the press. He has all that covered. They didn't do anything. No one can touch him." And I feel for Pam in this moment. I really do. And she's like, "The only way I can make him suffer is to make him bleed a little bit." And Nini, she has another plan up her sleeve. She's like, "You know what? If you want revenge, I can help you with that. You just need to make them suffer more, and I can help you with that." So she's like, "What's your issue with the director of the hospital?" And I'm guessing, they had that conversation. Nini takes Pam back to her place, and she's like, "You don't need to worry about doing any of that." She's like, "Pay attention to this." And so she hands Pam an envelope, and it's a picture of the doctor, the mom, and Gawi and Dokrak. And Nini tells her, if you want to destroy them, you have to destroy his family, especially the kids. Which is the kids have nothing to do with it. So she pretty much tells him, befriend the kids, get their secrets, and then ruin their reputation. She's like, "I guarantee you that will hurt him the most. You can't punish him physically. You can't hurt him physically, so you have to hurt him emotionally." And I was just like, it's bold of you to assume that this man has emotions, or that he's that much emotionally invested in his family. I feel like he's more motivated by status and reputation than he is emotionally to his family. At least that's what it seems like. Because if you're emotionally invested in your family, you wouldn't cheat on your wife. You wouldn't force your kids to go into a career field that they obviously don't want to do. I have a feeling that even Cowie probably doesn't even want to be a doctor. He just did it because he wanted to make dad happy. No idea what Cowie would want to do other than be a doctor. But, we'll never know that. But Pam asked her, she's like, "How could someone like me befriend people on this kind of level? It doesn't make any sense how I could do that." She's like, "Your plan's not going to work. It's just not going to work." And Nini tells her, "Just do what I tell you." That's all you gotta do. Besides revenge, you'll get paid too. She's like, "I know you need money. So yeah, just do what I tell you. I'll pay you. Everything will be fine." She's like, "Do you want to take revenge for your parents or not?" Basically. And Pam definitely does want to take revenge for her family. So yeah, that's how Nini and Pam get in on this. They shake on the deal. It kind of looks like Pam's making a deal with the devil at this point. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I really want to know what Nini's motives are. I really do. I know it has something to do with her mom. We all know that. But what happened? I really want to know what happened with Nini and her mom. So next we see Pam. She wants T to cut her hair. And T's like, "Are you sure? Because you always had long hair. Like, are you sure you want me to cut it?" And she's like, Pam's like, "Yeah, I want to be a new person." And so now that's how we get Pam's iconic short haircut. And yeah, new hair, new me. So now we're back at the present. Pam and Nene are still at the graveyard, and Nene reminds Pam, like, we need to ruin their lives, like, just like they did to you. And Pam, she's kind of having second thoughts about going after the kids, about going after Dokrak and Cowie, because she's like, you know, Dokrak and Cowie, they're not involved. Like, the worst they've done is lie to me about drawing the postcards. Like, that's it. That's the most they've done to me. That's kind of wrong. Um, and Nini's like, and then Pam's like, Dokrak doesn't like her dad because she was bullied in high school because her dad had an affair with her teacher. Like, that's why she hates him. Aside from the education stuff, she's like, that's pretty much it. She's like, there's nothing that they've done to make me believe that they are just as bad as their dad. And Nini's like, you know what? I already knew that Kawi and Dokrak were lying about the postcards. Like, I knew that Dokrak was the one helping him with the drawings and everything. I just didn't say anything to you because I wanted to see how much she liked you. And Pam's just like, you knew this whole time. You knew this whole time. Okay. And so Nini has another trick up her sleeve. So she's like, I know Cowie likes you a lot, but what I didn't realize is just how much the sister likes you too. And Pam, she kind of perks up at that a little bit, and she's trying to like not know. And she's like, no, Duck doesn't. And Nini's like, trust me, she likes you. And Nini pretty much tells her, she's like, I would like you to break up with Cowie. And Pam's like, wait, are you telling me that you want me to break up with Cowie and target Dokura instead? And Nini just kind of smiles at her. Doesn't say anything. She just kind of smiles at her. So yeah, that's a yes. And it's just like, let's be honest, Pam. You were gonna break up with Cowie anyway, because you don't like him like that, and you were gonna pursue Dokura anyway because you love her. So yeah. Um. So yeah. Nini tells her, yeah, break up with Cowie and pursue Dokura from now on. And then we see Nini. She's at her mother's grave now. I'm assuming it's her mother's. Don't know who else it would be at this point. And yeah, she's not happy. Understandably. I mean, we still don't know her backstory, but yeah, she's not happy. So next we see Cowie walking through the hospital with his friend, and he sees Pam sitting there. He doesn't look very happy to see Pam. Normally he's very, ooh, Pam. Like, he just wants to go and be with her. He does not seem happy right now. And we know why. So, he kind of puts on a little bit of a mask, and he goes over and he sits next to her. And, both of them are not giving off very good vibes. Not very good energy. So they're having a conversation, and Pam tries to talk to him because he's like, what brought you come visit me today? And Pam tries to talk. She just keeps stumbling over her words a little bit. And she's like, and Cowie's like, I know why you're here. And Pam's like, you know what I'm gonna say? He's like, I do. He's like, I should have. He's like, I know that you don't like me the same way that I like you. And I think he pretty much says, like, I shouldn't have pursued you like that anyway, basically. And so, they're breaking up right now, which is what needs to happen, to be honest. But yeah, so yeah, Cowboy's like, yeah, I know you don't like me like that, and I want to apologize for lying to you because I didn't draw the postcards. He's like, I don't have an autistic bone in my body. I can't draw to save my life. Um, my sister helped me draw those for you. I didn't draw those. And Pam's like, well, thank you for telling me the truth. And she calls him a good guy. She's like, you're a good guy. And you can tell Cowie does not like being called a good guy. Because he says, like, he pretty much says that he's like, I'm not that good. He's like, what does he say? He says something specific. I can't remember what he said specifically, but he pretty much alludes that he's done some stuff. And Pam tries to press like what he's talking about, and he's like, "Oh, I'm just saying stuff. It doesn't mean anything." And he's like, I would hope that we can stay friends, because I like having you in my life." And they end things amicably. It's nice. It's a good breakup for the most part. They end things amicably. There's no screaming or yelling. So then next we see Pam and Dokrak walking, and Dokrak looks very sad, and she's like, "Did you break up?" She asked Pam. She's like, "Did you break up with Cowie because of what happened when I was drunk that night?" And she's like, "If so, I'm sorry. Like, that wasn't my intention." And Pam doesn't really say anything for a little bit. She's thinking a lot of stuff, but she doesn't say anything. And then, Pam just kind of looks at Dokrak and she says, and Dokrak's like, "Why are you so quiet? Like, you can say it. Just say it. Just say I'm the reason that you broke up with my brother." Because Dokrak is feeling so guilty. So guilty. And Pam just looks at it and she's like, "I love you, Rak." And Rak's like, "Huh?" Like, yeah, what? It's like she heard her name. That's all she heard was her name. And Pam's like, "I love you. Do you hear me?" And Dokrak, when I watched this, Dokrak looks like she's gonna cry even more. I couldn't tell if it was happy tears or guilt tears, but she's like, Dokrak's like, "You can't love me." And Pam's like, "Well, I already do. So yeah, I love you." And Dokrak, she's like, no, you can't do this." And she's like, "We can't love each other." And Pam's like, "Why? Why can't we?" She's like, "I've already, like, me and your brother are already broken up. There's nothing stopping us. I don't care anymore. I love you." She just keeps telling her, "I love you." Um, she's like, "This is how I feel. I'm not gonna apologize for how I feel." And yeah, so Doug like, "But I'm still Cowie's little sister," and everything, and she's going through it right now. And eventually Pam like suggests, like, "How about we just keep this a secret between us?" She's like, "No one else needs to know. This will just be between you and me." And Dokrak's like, "I mean, even so, I still feel bad for Cowie." And Pam's like, "That's why I said that we can keep it a secret." She's like, "He doesn't have to know. As long as he doesn't know, you don't have to feel guilty about anything, basically." And it's just like, I mean, she shouldn't feel guilty because, yes, it is like not an ideal situation dating your brother's ex right after they break up. um, but the bottom line is, yeah, that they're broken up. It's so difficult because yes, they're not pursuing a relationship until after the breakup, but Pam did kiss Dokrak when she was still dating Cowie. Whether or not she wanted to be dating Cowie or not at the time, she still technically cheated on him with his sister. So yeah, it's a tough situation. Um, But they become official and they decide to just keep it a secret between them. And next we see Cowie at the bar, at Oat's bar, and he's having a drink with Oat. And Oat's like, "So you've broken up with 2 girls in a row?" And he's like, "Yeah, but neither one of those girls loved me." and and yeah, so he's going through it. He's like, "I don't know why they agreed to go out with me in the first place." And Oat's like, "Because you're a good guy." He's like, "You're nice. Everyone likes you. You have a great profile." Um, and he's like, "If I'm so great, then how come no one loves me?" And Oat's like, "Well, I love you." She's like, "Even if it's platonic, my love for you is genuine and sincere. So you can't say that nobody loves you because that's not true." Um. So yeah, I mean, yeah. And she tells him like, you have to stop, you have to stop feeling so guilty, especially about what happened to my mom. Um, because yeah, we fought, but it wasn't because of you. Like she wanted me to like men, and I couldn't do that for her. Like that's why we fought, and that's why she got into her accident. She's like, you breaking up with me gave me the bravery, made me brave enough to face things. It's just the consequences of me facing it was losing my mom. Like that's the bottom line of it. And you can tell Oates trying not to cry, and Gowie's definitely trying not to cry. He downs the rest of his drink so fast. And he tells her, like, let me keep feeling guilty about it. At least until you stop feeling guilty about it. And I can help you. I can like be your companion through all this. Like I can keep you company on this guilt-free journey that we're both on. And Oat tells him again, you're such a good guy. And Cowie hates it. He does not like being called a good guy. He's like, sometimes it hurts. Sometimes it hurts being when people think that you're good when you know deep down that you're not. And Oat's like, what secrets are you holding? Like, tell me what's going on. And he doesn't tell her. So it's just like, what, Cowie? What is going on with you? Like, what's going on? Let's have a conversation, Cowie. What's going on? I hope we find out more about him too, and not just have that hanging, because I want to know why Cowie thinks he's not good. Because I like Cowie. He's not a bad guy. I mean, as far as we know, he keeps saying he has a secret, but yeah, I don't think he's all that bad. We've seen worse. We've seen worse men in GL series. Um. So yeah, next we have everyone at the coffee shop, and Ake comes in and he tells everyone, on Friday we're gonna close down on Friday. And they're all thinking that they've lost their jobs and that the coffee house is like going under. And he's like, "What are you guys talking about?" and and everyone's like, "Well, we're going out of business, right?" And he's like, "No, no." He's like, "We're just gonna be closed down for like 3 days. We're gonna have a long weekend. I'm gonna take you guys out of town." And he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna be closed temporarily. We're gonna go on a 3-day, 2-night outing out of town." He's like, "I'm covering all the expenses. You guys don't have to worry about anything." And right after that, he says that Pam walks in because she wants to see her new girlfriend. And Nacho tells her, "Hey, Ake is taking us all out of town." And Pam's like, "Oh, where are you guys going?" And Ake says, "Oh, we're going to what's he Racha." So that's where they're all going. And I think Ake asks Pam if she wants to come. He's like, "Yeah, you guys don't have school on Friday. Do you want to come along?" And she's like, "Can I?" And they're like, "Yeah, why not? More the merrier." And yeah, so Pam is going on this weekend excursion with everyone, and she gets to spend time with Dokrak. So um, they all decided they're gonna go out to celebrate. Since he's paying for everything, he can practice by buying them drinks. So they all go to the Rim House, and And of course, Oat has to sit with them and have a drink with them because why not? She has to stir the pot a little bit when it comes to Pam and Dokrak. That's her only purpose is to stir the pot and get closer to Nene. But we haven't seen that happen just yet. So they're all having a drink. Preem and Ake are passed out on the table. Nacha is drunk, and she's talking about that person that she's been talking to, and she's like, "Do you guys remember that person I told you about? Well, they live in Ratchaburi." She's like, "Should I go and visit?" And Dokrak's like, "Yeah, you should, but make sure that they're okay with it first. Don't just show up." And Nacha, she's like, we've been talking for 2 years, and I still haven't heard her voice, haven't seen her face, that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, Nacho, you sure you're not being catfished? I don't know. I don't know. It seems suspicious when you talk to someone for 2 years and you've never seen them and you've never talked to them on the phone. It's just a little suspicious. So Oat is shooting, well, not really shooting her shot. She's just flirting a little bit. And she's like, because not just kind of losing confidence in this, in herself and in this person. And so Oat's like, well, if that person can't give you confidence, how about you let me give you confidence? How about you like me instead? And Nacha's like, she gets a little flustered. She's already drunk as it is. And she's like, oh, come on. Don't play with my fragile little heart like that. Don't play with me. And she's like, I may not seem like it, but I'm very loyal. And she's like, my heart already belongs to somebody else. And Oat's like, well, you're cute. I can't help it. I'm sorry. And Nacha, she's like, please, come on. She's like, are you human? Are you a human or are you a siren? She's like, you're very alluring, but I'm gonna go use the bathroom now. And so Nacha leaves, and Dokrak and Pam are making eyes at each other, making glances at each other, and Oat notices. And so, it's time for her to stir the pot now. And so she asks Dokrak, she's like, well, what about you? Is your heart still available? And Dokrak's like, And she kind of looks at Pam and she doesn't say anything. She's just like, And Oat's like, well, since you didn't say anything, I'm gonna take that as a yes. And and Pam's getting annoyed. You can tell in Pam's body language and her face, she's getting annoyed. And Dokrak's like, oh, you just love teasing me. And I was like, I'm not teasing you right now. I'm serious. And Dokrak's like, I don't believe you. You say that to everyone. And Pam kind of snickers at that. And Oat's like, okay, well then what should we do on our first date then? Should we hold hands or should we kiss? And Dokrak freaks out. She's like, what? What? No, huh? And Oat's like, don't tell me you've never kissed anyone before. And this is when Pam finally speaks up because she's mad. She's mad. And Pam's like, I think that question's a little too personal, don't you think? And Oat's like, we're all girls here. Why can't we talk about it? It shouldn't be a problem. Are you offended? And Pam's like, I'm not offended by something this small. And I was like, okay, well then what about you then, Miss Pam? Would you hold hands or kiss on the first date? And Pam, she takes a minute to answer. And then we see underneath the table, she's touching her foot against Dokrak's. And Pam's like, kiss. And we see Dokrak also touch her foot against Pam's. They're just playing footsie underneath the table at this point and making eyes at each other. And Oat's just like, I thought so. And then she looks at Dokrak. She's like, you're turning red. Are you flustered by her? And Rock's like, no, that would be weird. And so they just go along with eating the snacks. And Oat is just like, yeah. She's like, yeah, okay. And then she's like, Dokrak, you're such a child. And so yeah, that was fun. That was funny. It's just like Oat she's a master instigator. She really is. She sees things and then she just goes with it. It's so funny. Okay, so next off we see everyone's packing the car to get ready for this trip, right? And Pam Pam is there. She's helping get the car packed up. And Dokrak comes out at the cafe and she has um two thermoses, one for her and one for Pam. And I don't know if she drew the drawing on it or if it came that way, but it has a little figure, one that's her, one that's Pam, each holding half of an umbrella. And when you put them together, they're both together holding the same umbrella. It's so cute. And Pam makes a comment saying, "Oh, these are couples bottles." And Doug's like, "No, they're not. I just thought the designs were cute." And it's like, okay. So they get ready to leave. Preem takes the keys because he wants to drive, and Pam asks Egg if it's okay if she drives instead. And Egg's like, "Do you know how to?" She's like, "Yeah, my dad taught me. I just haven't done it since they passed away because I never had an opportunity to." So yeah, they agree to let her drive. So now that they're driving to watch a booty, Pam, Dokrak keeps looking over at Pam, and Pam's like, "Why are you looking at me?" And Dokrak's like, I just like watching you drive." And Pam makes a comment. She's like, "Well, when I get when I get a car, I will drive you around everywhere." And Dokrak's like, "You don't have to do that." Like, no, that's not necessary. You don't have to do that. So they're driving, and all of a sudden the car breaks down. And so they pull over, or Pam pulls over on the side of the road, and there's just smoke coming out from the hood. And I was like, it's probably the alternator, but that's just me. So Ake and all them, they're calling a repair guy to come out and look at the car. Meanwhile, Pam and Dokrak, they go on a walk to go look at the lake. And when they get out there, Pam pulls out one of those yogurt drinks that Dokrak likes. And Rak's like, "Oh, you remembered?" And Pam's like, "Of course, I remember everything about you." And so, they're drinking and everything. And, Pam's talking about how peaceful it is out here and how she wishes she could just move out here with her grandma and the people that she loves and just live a quiet, peaceful life away from everything. And Rock's like, "What do you mean by everything?" She's like, "Just the chaos. Like, I just feel like running away sometimes." And Doug agrees with Pam. She's like, "Yeah, I wish I could run away from everything too. I just wish that was possible for me." And Pam looks at her and she's like, "How would you feel about running away with me and living out here with me?" And Doug just kind of looks at her and she's like, "Wait, really?" And she's like, "Yeah, we can just live out here, basically." And Pam, Dokrak grabs Pam's hands and she's holding them, and they're having a moment. And then all of a sudden, Nacha shows up. Nacha decided to join them after all, and she's just texting on her phone. And I think she's texting was Minnie. I think she said that's what her person's name was. And yeah, next they finally get to the campsite, finally. And Pam, Nacha, and Dokrak, they go to take pictures. And Ake Ake turns around and he just sees Queen behind him, and he's like, "Why are you the only one here?" He's like, "Where are the girls?" And he's like, "They went to go take photos." And Ake's like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna go help Miss Pam take some photos." And Queen grabs him by the ear. He's like, "You're not going anywhere. You're gonna help me set up these tents." So the boys are setting up the tents, even though Ake really just wants to be near Pam. So that was kind of fun. So yeah, now we see she's in her bar. Her staff is leaving for the night, and she's sitting at the bar drinking a beer. And then Nini walks in to the bar, and Oat's like, "We're closed." And then she sees Nini, and Nini goes to walk away, and Oat's like, "Wait. Since you're already here, you can have a glass of wine." And a pretty girl walks. So Oat's getting her a glass of wine, and she keeps looking at Nini. So yeah, she gives Nini her wine, and she sits down at the bar again, and she's like, "My name is Oat. What's yours?" And Nene introduced herself. She's like, I'm Nene. And Oat's like, it's a cute name. It suits you. And so she goes and sits next to her. And she tries to flirt. She really does. She tries to flirt. And she's like, we have a promotion today. If you add the bus chat ID, you can get a free drink. And Nene's like, I'll pass. I'll pay for it. And then Oat's like, well, how about you just add it anyway? Because you don't want to miss out on any future deals. So she brings up the QR code. And Nene's like, fine. So she takes her phone out and she scans the code. And she realizes it's Oat's personal ID, chat ID. And she's like, this is yours. And Oat's like, well, didn't you know that if you have the bar or contact ID, do you get exclusive deals? And Nene's like, I don't like flirty people. All right, so stop. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, that sounds familiar. That has the same energy as the characters we see in Girls Rule with View and Mim's characters. Because in that one, View's character doesn't like Nini's character because she claims she doesn't like women. So it's kind of the same energy. So yeah, after that, Nini puts some money down on the table and she walks away. And Oat stops her and she's like, if you ever feel down again, you're welcome to drop by. I can be your drinking companion. And Nini just walks out. She's not interested. Not interested at all. So yeah, we know Oat's gonna pursue her. So yeah, next we see Dokrak and Pam at the campsite. Dokrak's making a boiling water over the fire. And Pam asks her, how come you didn't use the electric pot? I saw you bring it. And Dokrak's like, it didn't seem right. Like, I feel like you need to, like, well, camping, you should boil water over the fire. And Pam teases her. She's like, oh, you're like a little Girl Scout. And Dokrak's like, Pam, you're just not romantic. And so Pam grabs her face and looks at it. And she's like, what should I do that's romantic then? And I was like, oh, you're doing a pretty good job right now. You're doing a pretty good job. And so they just kind of stare at each other for a while. I thought there was going to be a kiss here, but no. And so eventually Dokrak's like, oh, look, the water's boiling. And Pam's like, you're always changing the subject. So they're making the ramen. And they're looking at the stars. And Pam's like, it's a shame. Like, if we were in Bangkok right now, we wouldn't be able to see all this. The lights would be too bright. And Dokrak's like, is that why you asked me to live out here with you? To run away and live here with you? And Pam asks her, she's like, oh, so you do want to live here together? And Dokrak's like, well, if you agree to cook for me often, yeah, I'll consider it. And Pam's like, it's all about eating for you, isn't it? She's like, well, life is fueled by food. And I agree. I will do anything for food. Not anything. Okay, I'll take that back. I will do some things for food. Food is definitely my driver. So yeah, now they're eating and everything, and Pam reminds Dokrak to blow on her food before she eats it, otherwise she's gonna burn herself again. And Dokrak's like, I don't know, I'll just have you blow on it for me. And and Pam's like, well, if I'm gonna be doing that, I might as well just feed you. And yeah, it's a cute little moment. And so now it's not so cute of a moment because next we see Pam and Dokrak, they're waking up the boys because they can't find Nacha. And they're like, we haven't seen her since last night. She didn't come back. Like, we don't know where she is. And so as they all wake up and they're looking for Nacha, they're walking through the woods, yelling, trying to find her. They split up. Preem and Aik go one way, and then Dokrak and Pam go another way. And Dokrak and Pam, they find her phone on the ground. They find Nacha's phone. And, Dokrak's kind of freaking out because she, that's her friend. That's probably her best friend. And they can't find her. And So Pam's like, it's okay. We'll find her. We'll find her. So Pam spots like a group of guys down the way, and she's like, let's go ask them and see if they've seen her. And so they walk up, and Pam's like, hey, excuse me, have you guys seen a girl walking around here that looks lost? And one of the guys in the back turns around, and it's Dokrak's dad. And he does not look very happy to see his daughter. So yeah, he walks up to them, and Pam and Dokrak look at him, and Dokrak's just like, Dad? And yeah, Pam does not look happy at all. So yeah, that's where the episode ends. Ooh. Yeah, so next episode, we're going to finally see an interaction between Dr. Kim and Dokrak. That's not a flashback. So, yeah, that was episode 5. We got a lot of backstory when it comes to Pam, and I think I was right with my theory that, well, at least with Pam, that the hospital neglected to take care of her parents, which I guess it wasn't the whole hospital. It was Dokrak's dad that neglected to take care of her parents because he wanted to take care of somebody who had more money, which is unfortunate and I think illegal. I don't know. I feel like it should be illegal. So yeah, now we know why Pam hates Dokrak's family so much. At least the dad. Still don't know much about Nini yet. I'm hoping we learn more about Nini next episode. Maybe, hopefully. But yeah. This was a good episode. I do have a question for all of you guys though. Who would you want to flirt with you? Would you want Pam to flirt with you, or would you want Oat to flirt with you? And what would you do if that happened? So yeah, thank you guys for watching this episode and listening to this episode. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe down below. Hopefully next week we have Linda with us. I don't know yet because I know she has to work. So hopefully she'll have the energy to record next weekend. If not, hey, you get me again. So we'll have a good time. It'll be fun. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. And yeah, I'll see you guys next episode. Bye.
คุณพี่พบคุณสาคุณสาอาเน
คนที่ฉันรักคือไออุ่น